right, we're back. Joined by Croc. April 23rd, 2023. Loddy and Mac on the SAC. Angry Jay in the house. Croc. We are again missing the Don father. He put work ahead of this. He's on the left coast. Johnny, the commish, chasing kids around after baseball games, picking them up from various sports. It's not easy.
There's good news, though. Chris Sale still sucks on the East Coast.
Yeah, he does. I mean, his career has almost fallen off a cliff. More about that later. Again, missing the Don father, missing the commish. But this episode brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. Coming in with big checks, TNT remodeling, big checks. L&R. You can file late. All you people that filed an extension, head on over to L&R. Chiz Clothing. Chiz Clothing's going to be a major part of the show pretty soon. It's a surprise for all you guys, but I'm going to leave it as a cliffhanger. Twister Baseball Clinics? Checks are rolling in. I mean, what are we going to do with all this money? We don't need to update the Stood. Stood looks great.
I'm waiting for my Rutgers banner.
All right, we'll get that. All right, tonight, simple show. NBA playoff time, beginning of baseball. All of baseball season's terrific. It's better than not having it. The only good thing about not having baseball is in that time you got football and college basketball, and that, again, that's always a fun time of year.
Has baseball season started?
It has.
For the Yankees? It has. Okay.
Well, that's where we're starting. 13-9. We are now down in fourth place, barely ahead of the lowly Red Sox, and
our manager said we're playing really well, though, yesterday.
I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to give you guys a few stats and let you go for it.
All right, let's see what you got.
We're 8th in the American League in OPS. The amount of money we're playing. I mean,
Bronx Bombers?
All right, we are 11th in the American League in batting average at an anemic 227, by the way. That's 30 teams. We're 11 out of 15. Out of 30 teams, we are 25th.
In batting average?
The New York Yankees. 10th in RBIs in the American League, 10th in runs scored. Again, this is only out of 15. We are 13th in hits. That's great. That's a good sign. 28th in the major leagues in base hits. We're 28th in the major leagues in base hits.
Managers said we're playing well.
We're 28th in the major leagues in base hits. And they're talking championship?
Math
it's not
department
about the
doesn't care.
championship.
They care about launch
The
angles.
process. Yeah, it's the process.
As long as you have a good process, the results don't matter.
You guys down with OBP?
No, never.
Well, you know me. We are 9th in the American League in OBP, and to me, that's my favorite stat. You know, get on base, and eventually somebody will make something happen. We are 3rd in steals, which is different from us. But
the rookie.
If you take Volpe out of there, you know, whatever. What are you guys thinking about our offense? I haven't mentioned pitching.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm going to pat myself on the back and stir the pot a little bit early. You guys were pumped up about the Rodon signing when it happened. And I'm not saying he was a bad signing, but I said at the time they needed 2 or 3 more bats. They brought back the same exact team that couldn't hit the whole second half of the year last year, and more importantly in the playoffs. So I'm not surprised by any of this. They're playing 2 rookies now. Cabrera in left. They don't even have a real center fielder. Hicks is starting tonight after not playing in the homestand. So apparently he can't play at Yankee Stadium.
Whitson.
Gleyber Torres is the cleanup hitter. LeMay, who plays every other day, who's our best hitter. Thank God Rizzo's hitting. So all these stats that you're telling me, it doesn't surprise me. It's not a competitive team. The pitcher's got to be close to perfect, and you can't play baseball that way. It's tough to watch.
Is Rizzo got 6-7 home runs?
He's got about 5 or 6, and he's batting over 300.
Well, my point is, I know he hit 2 of them in the game where we were losing like 9 or 10-0 right off the bat.
Yeah.
Well, he hit one yesterday.
And then he hit one the other day when we were getting
He hit
smoked.
another one yesterday for the only run.
So you guys bust Stanton about that stuff. You know, it's 10-0. It's a home run.
Teixeira home run right there.
Teixeira,
13-2, the big 3-run homer to cut it to 13-5.
Who'd you rather, Rizzo or Teixeira?
Rizzo, he's tough. He's a tough guy.
Yeah,
Teixeira's a better player on paper. I like the fact that our guy cares.
They're boring. Bobby Mack, they're boring. They're a boring team.
Their 5 through 9 is disgusting. disgustingly bad. I love the younger kids and stuff. I don't need to see 6 of them in a row with IKF and Hicks. Like, oh my God, it's brutal.
How about maybe take Judge out of the 2-hole without a Stanton? Could he just shuffle it around just a little bit? Something?
Well, with Volpe and LeMahieu up there, I mean, those two guys that should be on base enough. And Judgy hits third.
That's what I'm saying. Just move him a slot.
Nah,
Try something different.
Nah, computer says different.
Injuries, bad baseball players. It's a recipe for disaster. And I
bad
talked to
organization.
Angry Jay the other day. This will be the year you can't punt the first 2 months because everybody in the AL East is playing over 500. You can't dig too big a hole. I don't care how many wild card spots there are. It's not a good recipe right now for the Yanks. And I'm not going to panic because it's not football. It's only 22 games so far. But what's going to get better in the next month? If we're waiting with bated breath for Harrison Bader to come save the day, the guy's a 240 career hitter.
Well,
Loddy,
I gotta jump in there. Go ahead.
Severino will be throwing a solid 3 or 4 innings in Tampa in a couple of weeks.
Not worried about all these pitchers coming back. We have no offense.
Okay,
None.
so we got to talk about the built-in excuse, like we're the only team that gets hurt. But can we finally get rid of this? Whatever staff is in charge of keeping guys on the field, they're obviously not doing a good job. The guys are never on the field. How do these guys still have jobs?
Bobby Mack.
They're never on the field.
Trevino, who came over in the Montez trade,
Jeez.
he had a setback today. You believe it?
Did he really? I didn't see that one.
Yeah, he had a setback
Oh, the
today.
pitcher, not
the pitcher. He's going to get Tommy John any
So,
second. So every acquisition that Cash Clown made since the deadline last year
Stay hot.
and the offseason this year, nobody's playing. None of them are on the field.
Clown.
Extension. Give him an extension.
Let's talk about these guys. Non-starters. So, you know, the fake catcher, the fictional catcher, Rodford or whatever his name is.
Yeah, is that guy for real?
He's not a real person.
He's not, right?
No.
No, because no one's ever seen him. I mean, we heard he's muscular.
They took a picture of some guy like in the gym like a couple of years ago, and they put him on there, and they
Yeah, he's
just
like
told us
tan
that's
and
Ben
muscular,
Rorfeld.
but
Yeah.
whatever.
Wasn't really him.
Loizaga, IL. Trevino, setback. Canely, Efros. All right,
Yep.
so hold on. Those are the guys that wouldn't start the ball game. I mean, the fake catcher, who knows if he'd be a fake starter or a fake, bench guy. But now the starters. So let me finish here for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Donaldson, Stanton, Bader. When those guys come back, to Jay's point, the wrong kids will be removed from the lineup. The wrong kids. IKF will still be running around. Hicksy will still get to play as soon as the plane lands somewhere else. He'll be in a lineup for a night or two. Now, he is as bad as, like, it's not even worth. He's gone. He's gone.
Mentally,
At least
he's
in
done.
New York. So those 3 guys are going to replace the wrong young guys.
Yep.
And Peraza, who shut his mouth, went
Love
down,
him.
came back up. We need his life, and he'll be out. He'll be out of there. And then it's Severino and Rodon, and they're going to say as soon as we get these guys back, as soon as we get them back, what? We're down. We're 12 games out. As soon as we
They're
get
gonna
them
be
back,
12 out.
shut up.
Michael Kay will be saying
It's like making a trade. Right?
There you go. Every year he said it for the last 4
Yeah,
years.
he has.
Oh, when we get Severino, I could be like getting a top notch starter. No, Mike, he's actually on the team. He just never pitches. Listen, I'm always down on him. I hate the way they run their organization. I'll watch them till the day I die. But like, and you guys make fun of me, but I'm a realist. Like the way they run
I'm
the
with you.
organization, like the way
Angry Jay.
they handle players is just brutal. Like, why would you want to come here?
Angry Jay, we're as frustrated as you, but at the end of the day, it's our job to root for him because we've
I'm
done it
gonna
for a
root for
lifetime.
him. I'm gonna root for him.
You're anti-Yankee.
I'm not anti-Yank. I'm anti-Brian Cashman. We get that freaking clown out of here, we start winning some goddamn championships again.
Matt Carpenter, we didn't need him, right? We didn't need him back.
He hit too many home runs.
He's got like a 1,000 OPS with the Padres. We didn't need a guy like that.
What side of the plate he hit from?
Bobby Mack, don't tempt me because I got a list here. Angry Jay, give me 30 seconds
Go ahead. Let it
for
rip.
the audience. I'm glad you brought that up. What did all these guys have in common?
They're lefty.
All right. Chambliss, Nettles, Reggie, Rivers, Roy White, Boggs, O'Neill, Strawberry, Bernie, Posada, Raines, Chili, Loddy, Justice, Teixeira, Cano, Damon, Swisher, Melky. They all were on world championship teams, and they were either switch hitters or lefties. Who do we got? Short porch and right. Cordero, Calhoun. Cabrera and Hicks are switch hitters, and Rizzo. How the hell are you going to win?
The first two guys weren't even on the Yankees when the year started.
Yeah, they signed them like on opening day, and they came running out. They basically just got their pinstripes on. This is what Cashman's built with a short porch, 314 feet in right field, and we're running out lineups with 7-8 righties against right-handed pitching. He gets everything he deserves. 4-year deal, right under the radar.
Yep.
Nobody knows what the terms were. What are Manaya and Sabian thinking? Like, what a clown show this is.
Oh, they didn't know what they got in for. I can't take the guy, man. I just like it's brutal. It's brutal. I don't. But how about Cole the other day? Throws a shutout, and he's got another one going in the sixth inning. And the pitch count's like in the 90s. Like we got to give him rest because he threw a complete game last time.
Why would
Crocker? Dan Duquette was a better GM than the Cash. Lou Gorman. Bring Lou Gorman back.
I do enjoy this segment on the Yankee bashing is kind of a music.
No,
to
it's
my
just
ears.
being realistic and honest.
Crocker? You want to go out in the parking lot and say that? I mean, Jesus, come on, step up. There's a microphone right there. You know what else with Frenchie? And I wanted him to be the lightning in a bottle guy too, because he got a home run the first time he played or whatever. We just give him number 33.
Yeah,
The heck's that? I mean, Wellesley, Swish.
Was Soriano 33 for a
His
second?
second time.
Yeah.
He was
That's
12
what I
and
thought,
33.
12
Charlie Keller, Ken Griffey, Bill Dickey, Jose Canseco, Brian Bruni.
Melito Perez, I think, was.
Yeah,
or
he was.
Pasquale.
No. It was Melito. Your boy Greg Bird. But we give this bum 33? Jeez.
It's not that he wears 33. We sign him and he bats fifth. As soon as we sign him, like, what
Second game of the season.
Jesus.
What are you doing next week? Nothing really. You want to hit fifth for us?
I just got released.
Guess what? It's opening day. We'll hit you fifth. You want to come along?
They signed another Calhoun since we last met.
Yeah, Cole Calhoun.
We need a 35-year-old Calhoun.
No,
now.
I like Cole Calhoun.
I do too. Is he better than the current Calhoun?
Oh,
though?
that's all we do. That's all we do is one of these guys will get they'll go 8 for 22 to start, and propaganda machine will be like the front office. Yeah. Never mind the last 20 guys who went 1 for 20 to this. Oh my God, this guy.
Listen,
I'm a Pirates fan.
Jesus Christ! But
Stop
this guy,
16-7.
stop it.
Pirates.
Now we're not in the business of rooting against kids and stuff like that. So I don't want to go too far with this, but I couldn't help but look up Cashman's son because I heard he went to Avon Old Farms, and I found one of his, all these scouting services. I found his particulars, and he's going to Lafayette. And the guy that we faced went to Lafayette, the great Scott Workhoven, the current coach of Chicago.
Oh yeah.
That legitimate place. Doesn't one of your nephews go there or something?
No.
It's in D.C. or something like that.
Lafayette's in Pennsylvania, I think.
What's the one?
PA.
My nephew goes to Loyola in Maryland.
Whatever, they start with
Baltimore.
an L.
Same thing.
Anyway, so he's signed there, 150 pounds.
Well, I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to root against the kid, but his father's awful at his job.
Well, so if your
Awful.
father's bad at his job, but he's in
I'll root
baseball,
against him.
you get to go play somewhere. I mean, I hope the kid's great, but what I saw.
Yanks will draft him in 4 years. Another middle infielder. Add him
He'll
to
be
the
on
list.
he'll be on the IL in two.
It's like making a trade. All of a sudden, we got this new guy that's 150 pounds soaking wet.
He'll miss his sophomore and junior year to do a stub toe or something. Jesus Christ, this guy.
Red shirt. He's gonna have a whole red uniform, right?
Is Tampa ever going to lose? I mean, they hit home runs and they pitch.
But we're playing well.
What's Tampa?
Booney said we're
18
playing
and
well.
3?
I thought you meant
19.
our Tampa because
No.
our Tampa's got a loaded squad down there.
Our minor league system is definitely better than our major league team. No doubt about it. The Martian,
Can't get it back.
Sweeney.
Dixie, though.
Trey Sweeney.
Yeah, we'll never see him. Cash Clown, he's starting out hot.
Did anybody go down to what was it, Ridgefield? Did anybody go to the presentation with Cash?
Luckily,
Ridgefield now.
luckily, Angry
Didn't
Jay
make it.
didn't go. But he lives in New Canaan. I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of those rich guys do.
Hey, thumbs up, thumbs up. We did it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we're down on Cash. Does Boone count as a guy that we can be down on? He has no say.
No, he's got no.
So-
What else is he going to do? Look at the roster.
So he's got to say we're playing well, and then he sounds like an idiot. I mean, who would be a good fit right now? I mean, Piniella? Honestly.
What is Sweet Lou doing right now? Down in Tampa smoking cigars.
Don't say Buck. I don't want to hear that.
No, I said I would prop up Billy Martin like weekend at Bernie's, and we'd
Bring back Art Fowler as the pitching coach,
A
too.
little hit and run.
Can you imagine
Gay
what
Paul.
he would say to these guys?
I would love to see him talk to Stan. Billy Martin talking to Mike Stan. I'm not calling him Giancarlo anymore. I told you that last week. You got to play to use your.
Mike Stanton was a heck of a prospect, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're down on Cash. We're kind of down on Boone. We want Billy back. And if NBA playoffs, looks like the Celtics are going to close it out. I thought the Warriors might have been in a full transition after getting swept by the Kings, and all of a sudden it's 2-2.
Yeah.
Curry made a blunder last night. Chris Webber blunder.
Whoa.
He'll get away with it because he smiles and everyone likes him.
Well,
cost
they
him.
didn't lose,
Yeah,
though.
it didn't cost him.
Okay, fair.
Ridiculously bad play. Yeah.
Did you see that Murray for Atlanta is suspended for Game 5?
Yeah.
Pushing the ref at the end of the
Did
game.
you see it?
Yeah.
Did he really push him?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a two-hand shove. It was more like,
It was bad judgment.
yeah,
but like,
just stupid. Just walk away.
But
man.
Doc Rivers, there's something to what he said. And by the way, his guy, kicks somebody in the groin, and it's fine because he's him. But he's right. They gotta get these instigators and hit them heavy and fine them, and maybe this nonsense will stop. The malice at the Palace thing was outstanding, and the part of it that's a big takeaway for me is they said we were all friends, like we were gonna push each other around a little bit. It was the fans who escalated that. So like these guys are all, for the most part, buddy. And they're like professional wrestlers during these pushing moments. Nobody's gonna hit anybody. They're not gonna hit anybody. No. But if Joel Embiid kicks the guy in the groin, how does that other guy get ejected? Because he walked over him? Well, maybe they both go. Maybe it's zero tolerance. You're involved in any fracas, you're gone. If you have the courage, the brains to here, it's going to escalate. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. The guy chases me. He's gone. Any aggressive
I don't know.
posturing
How about
or pushing, you're out of there.
somebody's? You're talking about guys that start all this stuff, like Draymond, again yesterday. Like any normal guy, any other guy would have been ejected. He gets one technical, and then he just literally could murder somebody, and they wouldn't throw him out a second one.
You know what?
And then how about listen? I'm not a LeBron fan, but do you see Dylan Brooks
Yeah.
hit him in the nads?
Did he?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
did he purposely?
I don't know, but I mean, did Embiid hit him in the nuts?
Pretty much.
He didn't actually.
He
Got
tried
the
to.
inner side of the leg. Let's put it that way.
Tried to.
Okay.
Tried to.
How about but this clown, he's just a social media guy now. That's all he is. Him and like guys like Patrick Beverly, they're average to below average players, and they start crap. They yap their mouth talking about how great they are, and they get a bunch of attention.
You know who doesn't act like that? The New York Knickerbockers.
You are flying high.
They just play the game the way it's meant to be played. And
Well,
they,
listen, they got a coach though. They got a coach that doesn't take crap, and I love him.
he doesn't take
People
crap.
don't like him because he's old school, but Julius Randle doesn't play well, and he acts like a third
Is this
grader.
going
He
to
just
turn
sits him.
into a Knicks segment? Because I'm
Go ahead,
ready. I'm
go
ready
ahead.
to go.
Jump.
Oh, we're NBA playoff.
It's taking you 15 years to when round, you're close.
It's been a lot longer than that. Oh, when Melo was, yeah. Maybe
got
when
one,
Melo
right?
when Melo was there. They beat the Celtics in the first round,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
when
what I
Melo was
thought.
there.
That was
But
terrible.
you're right. Alluding to Randall, here's your, third-team All-NBA guy or, one of the top 20, 25 players this year.
The coaches don't do that anymore.
Doesn't get a sniff in the fourth quarter. He runs Obi Toppin out there for 11 of the 12 minutes, and the Knicks just take off. Randall nowhere to be found with the media after the game. And you guys know I'm not a Randall fan,
Right,
so I've been
that's-
consistent. His body language all game long when he was playing was awful because he wasn't scoring the ball.
That's what I'm saying. So Thibodeau,
Yeah.
playoff game.
Yep.
Coaches don't do it in the regular season. They're superstars, And this guy, he's acting like a third grader. I tip him, I grab some pine.
Yeah.
I tip the hat to him, man. I'll probably get fired for it, someday when Julius doesn't want to play for him anymore. But
Well, I mean, the series is not over. They're playing well. Hart and Brunson have been phenomenal. And you know what? And I've been his critic, and I was a huge fan of his first 3 years. The last two games by Barrett, taking the ball to the basket, he's been the key, to be honest. He still can't shoot. I don't know why they have him sit in the corner, but they started getting him going to the basket. The duo of Hartenstein and Robinson's doing a good job in the middle. Cleveland's guards are so small, Garland and Mitchell. I mean, they're dynamic offensive players, but, man, they're having a tough time keeping the Knick guards out of the paint. So we'll see Wednesday night, Game 5, and anything can happen because all these NBA teams are dealing with injuries right now, right? With Oladipo, unfortunately, for Miami, his career could be in jeopardy.
could be over, yeah.
Hero's out.
De'Aaron Fox might not play Game 5.
Giannis is playing.
Is he?
He's playing. Yeah. Fox is questionable.
They're saying Embiid might
So
not
it's
be
kind
ready.
of it's kind of up in the air. I said it on the last podcast. Lakers are looking good out there, out west,
Is
right?
Willis Reed rolling over in his grave with some of these guys? though
That's crazy.
some of these guys,
Yeah.
they're like banged up. That's it. Like that. It's the playoffs.
Playoffs. Cashman.
How about Isaiah Thomas?
Oh my God, I'll never forget that.
I mean, these
Me
guys, these guys are banged up and they're not playing. They're like, oh, I'm sore.
How about Jordan with the flu? I don't want to hear about it. If anyone thinks that part of that's made up.
Kevin McHale, broken foot. He played entire playoffs.
Yeah.
Walks around like he's 103 years old now.
They say they carried Jordan on and off the bus that night.
Food poisoning.
Joel Embiid fell down though.
Took a tumble. He took a terrible tumble. Yeah, these guys
Somebody
with their
like-
tummy aches and stub toes, it's tough.
Phoenix looks pretty good, huh?
There's another.
yeah.
So there's another one. The Clippers, like some of these teams, like Kawhi, like
Kawhi is a disappointment.
he is when he plays is probably as good as a player in the NBA. Like both sides, like you could say Giannis, but like when Kawhi Leonard plays, like to me, he's as good as anybody. Could be the best. He never plays.
Yeah.
Now they're in the playoffs. They signed up an extension, and he doesn't play in the playoffs now.
He got his money, and he's using all his sick days.
He hardly played this year in the regular
Yeah,
season.
but now listen, it's the playoffs now.
He's a
Like,
superstar, and he doesn't
That's
play.
what I'm saying. Like,
What a
do you think
jackass.
they regret? How about here's another one because you mentioned the Knicks. I was thinking about this. Kyrie Irving, everybody would say is better than Brunson, right? Who would you rather have?
The guy that plays,
Yeah,
Yeah.
guy who puts up
Not even
20
close.
and tries.
no drama.
Yeah,
It's not even close.
I'm glad you brought up Brunson. I was thinking about this today. If you have we've all coached at different levels, but if you want to teach kids footwork, the mid-range game, the step back, because it's not like he goes to the basket. He's not elevating. He's not a huge three-point guy. But he from 10 to 18 feet, 10 to 20 feet, man, his footwork is so good.
yeah,
And
he takes shots he can
yeah,
make.
he's going up against guys that are quicker in some instances, guys that are taller and stronger. And, boy, he gets his shot off. He angles, changing speeds and directions. He is fun to watch. So, kids, anybody that's listening, high school kids, elementary, middle, watch Brunson.
How about the Mavericks too? Going with that, so they decided to go with Kyrie over Brunson. Brunson was okay, kind of being second fiddle,
Yeah.
right?
And they could have signed him at short money,
Yeah. But
comparatively speaking to
But
to
he's
other
not. He's not a
salaries.
big enough a name to the flat Earth guy. So
Yeah, but they should have known that because when Luka didn't play last year in the playoffs, he elevated
yeah,
his game,
he was
right?
terrific. Yeah, he was absolutely terrific.
Now,
Yeah.
it might have already been a foregone conclusion that he was going to go to the Knicks with his dad on the staff and this and that, but the Dallas had the right to deal with him first, right?
Yep.
And the Knicks jumped in, and at the time, I think it was 4 for 104, and a lot of Knicks fans are like 4 for 104. That seems like a cheap contract right now.
I'm going to jump to the Celtics real quick. So they're up 3-1. Hopefully they can end the series tomorrow. At home, especially without Murray playing for Atlanta. As good as Trae Young is, or his stats look at the end of the game, not a winning player. Like some of the stuff he does with a basketball is incredible. But again, like give me a Brunson or somebody that does the dirty work.
I mean, Fox.
Here's something the Celtics have
Not
to
even
do.
close with him and Fox.
Robert Williams is, if you watch him, like he's so important to him because he just alters shots. He's by far their best rebounder. He played 35 games this year, 35 of 82. Can he play more than 20 minutes in the playoffs now? Like, because the last 5 minutes of these games, he like has to be on the floor, and so they have a problem because obviously Tatum and Brown are two of the guys. So there's three. Mm-hmm. They have a problem with. They have Derek White, Marcus Smart, and Malcolm Brogdon, and one of the guys has to sit. And Mazzulla is yesterday. He had Brogdon out there, who I love, and he won the Sixth Man of the Year. He's taking the backseat. Like Marcus Smart he's the one guy I'm worried about if he flips out, if he's not in the court at the end of the game. And it's going to happen. It should happen at some point because as good as Smart is defensively, his decision making is, oh my God, like he scares me at the end of games, like throwing lob passes across court. Brogdon on offense is terrific, absolutely terrific, and he's not bad on defense, but he isn't Marcus Smart on defense. But they got Derek White playing the quick guys like Trae Young, and he'll if they move to the next round, he'll be playing Maxey and Harden a little bit. Mm-hmm. The question is, can they sit Marcus Smart at the end of some of these games? Like
he's not going to love it.
I don't know if he's going to. Yeah, because Brogdon, he's terrific. He plays like 20, 25 minutes. He just makes shots. Like he came in second or third in 3-point percentage this year. He shoots 88% from the foul line. He shoots like 50% from the field.
He's got a little Brunson. He's just so fundamental.
He doesn't do anything flashy. He just makes shots.
It looks like he's moving in slow motion.
So
and
who's the five you want in there at the end?
I like
the Jays.
Tatum and Brown, obviously.
Time Lord, the Jays.
Robert Williams has to play at the end of these games just because he's defensively and rebounding. There's nobody compares to him on the Celtics. So and then that comes down to the two or the three guys. I would play who based on matchups, but like Brogdon, like to me is such a scorer. Like especially as a third scorer, like with Brown and Tatum, and if you have him on the court, they're hard to guard with those three guys. Then with Smart, he just has irrational confidence. Like he'll be 4 for 15, and he's letting him rip, man. He's like, I'm open.
He'll bank in a three.
Yeah, like you're open for a reason, dude.
I love him now.
You see their former
No,
coach?
I like him too.
What
Like
a fighter.
He's he's the tough guy of the team. He flops and all that stuff, but he's the intensity level. He'll guard. They'll have him on Embiid on switches, and they don't even double him. And like that's great. But on offense, at the end of games, oh my God, his passing and his shooting, like it's like ooh.
There's no reason for him to have the ball in his hand that much. I know with the rest of the guys they got out there.
He's got onions.
I love Brogdon though too. Oh man, what a pickup!
Did you see their former coach, Udoka, got hired by the Rockets?
Yeah. You'll see a lot of interns leaving.
Udoka.
All right. We're about halfway through. It's halftime.
Let's go to the Kings and the Warriors. Who do you guys got winning that series? 'Cause to me, that's by far the best series. It's 2-2 now.
It's crazy how physical the Kings were the first two games, and it's awesome how the Warriors responded, especially without, that big jerk, and they beat him easy. And then it was awesome how they grinded it out. The Kings wins, you watch the game and you're like, they're dominating this team. They're up like 4 or 5. The Warriors are hard to dominate. So I got to think that. And if any small part of me thinks the NBA needs them to go into that next round, they got to figure out a way for Steph to meet up with another superstar for another 6 or 7 games. I'm
Yeah.
going to go Warriors.
I'm going to go Warriors too. I just think their resume and the playoff pedigree and Steph Curry, they win out. They'll find a way. Whether it goes, what do they do it in 6 or 7? I just think they find a way against the younger, inexperienced playoff team.
What do you think?
I'll agree with you guys. They're one of the few recent sports franchises that actually has their main guys have stuck together. And as much as I dislike Draymond, I mean Klay Thompson and Curry should go down as an all-timer. Like he's starting to like. I don't want to say top 10, but like a top 20 guy. Like he is so like he crosses half court. They gotta have 3 guys like near him, you know. And he just opens up so much stuff for other guys because the switching and the space that they get. Like he makes Wiggins look fantastic, you know. Put Wiggins on the Wizards, and he's a nice player, and he looks terrific, you know. But
I have a thought about that. Him going to the basket now when he stops settling for his showboat threes. I don't want to call him showboat threes, but some of them are because he runs the other way before he releases the ball. But like. Nobody could keep him in front of him.
yeah, like
because they have to guard him so far away from the 10 that he's got 50 feet to work with.
Have you guys seen any decline in his
No,
game
that's
as
what
he's
I'm saying.
gotten older? I think
34.
he's just
in
he's
the
just
in the
special.
threes like he makes are it's almost comical because like he's like body's like half turned, he's like falling down, and I don't know about
What
you
a
guys. You watch it like every one he takes, I think's going in.
What a shooter.
I think when we talk, I mean, I know Bobby and Mac. Bobby Mac and I, we love talking about this stuff. Like, where is he? Top 10, all-time 15, 20? I still don't. I think when you watch guys in the present, you still don't even appreciate them when you start comparing them to legendary guys, some guys that we saw play, some guys that we didn't see play. I think it's going to take a few years after he retires to really say, wow, he is one of
that's
the
a good
all-time
point.
greats.
But-
You know what I mean?
When's that? 6 more years?
Speaking of the just as the franchises though, like they're down 2-0. It's really easy for them to say like, oh, we had a great run. This is, Draymond's out 2 of game 3. And Curry's out there. He's playing 40 minutes. He's running. He's like, does he get tired?
Follow him around.
look
Look
like
your eyes. Like he.
I mean, that guy's doing a good job on him. You look at him, he has 30 or 35 at the end of the night.
Constant motion,
Yeah.
constant movement.
That's the one thing about Draymond. I'm waiting for him to make the mistake he's itching to make. He doesn't want to leave his boys, but he wants to jump on there with LeBron so freaking bad. But he said after game 2, before he learned he'd be suspended, he's like, whatever. He goes, every other challenge that's been put in front of us, we've conquered, and this one we haven't seen yet. So this is gonna be fun. He goes, are they really like that, where they want a different challenge, something different? Here's another guy that I'm happy for, is Harrison Barnes was on this team about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He's no worse right now. He's pretty good. He's hung around, and like if they could have paid him, they would. I don't think they would have ever needed this Wiggins, because to me he's the glue guy in the Kings.
This should be fun. No, the next it's 2 out of 3 to Sacramento.
Yep.
Is it a bad playoff loss if you're Sacramento?
No,
You finish 3rd. You're the higher seed. But like if you don't win a playoff round, is it?
They were up 2-0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Man,
yeah.
they were up 2.
I gotta say no when the Warriors are playing, and all bets are off.
I don't know. That's a good.
And then another thing is this: they're still young, all of them, except for Lyles. Is it Lyles on that team? Trey Lyles. They got somebody like that.
I don't. But they have Sabonis, Fox.
I think they got Trey
Monk.
Lyles off the bench.
Yeah, but they have like good pieces. They can be good for years to come still, but like they've been terrible for 20. Like since they had Weber and Diva, it's been Peja. Like it's been forever, and they won like 50 games this year, over 50 games.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen for Sacramento.
Yeah,
And
they're
now-
not assured of this is going to catapult them into something
Yeah,
else.
like it's.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
agree.
would you be shocked if they were 25
Got their
and
roster there?
55 next year?
No, they're going to come back stronger. Here's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do what the Celtics did when they got the Posies and the Eddie Houses. They might have to forfeit one of these young kids to get somebody in there with a little postseason moxie or some veteran like a Eric Gordon type, or like who was the forward they had, and then he's bounced around. He went from the Raptors to the Rockets. Tough. Oh, come on, who was he?
Talking about PJ Tucker, like guys
Tucker.
like that?
Yeah, just
He's on a Sixer. No, he's actually
you
tough.
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like somebody tough like that. They do have Trey Lyles.
Yeah, they got the guy Huter who was with
I love
Atlanta
him.
there, and
Herder.
Yep, I'm
Freaking
sorry,
love
but
him.
Keegan Murray out of Iowa.
Yeah,
Got
struggling a little bit. Like there's not enough shots to go around.
Playoffs are different,
Yeah.
man. They're different.
So before we get into a special
I love
segment,
I love Sabonis though.
Yeah,
Like
I do
whatever.
too.
I love those guys that rebound the crap out of the ball, and he's one of them.
I saw something stupid on Twitter with them beating up, or somebody trying to make a case for LeBron being better than Jordan. Some stupid stat they threw out there. It might have been like playoff wins or playoff average, this and that. LeBron's played 20 years worth of playoff games with an extra. Wasn't it 2 out of 3 for a minute in the first round?
It was
ever
3
2
out. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking.
Not 2 out of 3, 3 out of
It
5.
was 3 out of 5. Yeah.
So they got
3 out of
extra
5.
games everywhere. He's been to a lot of 6 and 7 game series.
Mm-hmm.
My point being, look, Jordan only played like in the low teens, maybe up to 15 tops of playoff games.
Yeah, because they swept everybody in the first round, basically, right?
Yeah, and so he's had 179 playoff games, and LeBron's had 269. It's 90 more.
Yeah.
That's 90 more. Of course, you're going to have a ton more points, right?
Does he have a ton more points?
What's the
I don't
what's
know.
the average per game though? in
I'll
the
bet you the
playoffs?
averages aren't.
Probably pretty
Oh,
similar.
I bet you Jordan's higher.
Jordan
Jordan was
but-
even better in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they didn't. They had to grind it out. A lot of possessions. These guys are playing 3-point
Yeah.
contests down there. You know. Okay, so look, Jordan 33.4 a game. LeBron 28.7.
So
Yeah,
5
and-
5-point difference. You know, it's a 5-point difference.
Yeah. Again, so you have to win one game or one playoff series.
Jordan, man, let's
Thank you.
go.
How about our producer
I might take-
Mike Kroc coming up with the stuff behind the scenes? Oh, boy.
Got to do something sitting here.
Brian Ferguson, great producer. All right, quick segment brought to you Sky Gazer and
Philip
TNT.
Pelly.
Athletes whose careers were heading one way and they metaphorically fell off the cliff. Never the same. Maybe never heard from them again. Who wants to go first? All right, sure. I'll go. I'm going to go with my man Dontrell Willis, who breaks into baseball with the Marlins with one of the funkiest windups you'll ever see. Kind of with a huge leg kick, kind of putting his head behind his body.
Yeah, that was old school. The old school leg kick.
Yeah, it's almost like he had to do yoga like you're doing over there on every day to even have a wind up like that. But you know, he comes out of the box 2003. Not one of my favorite Marlin years, but
That one hurt.
yeah, 14-6. Comes back the next year, 10-11 with a ton more innings pitched. 22-10. Second in Cy Young. 11th in the MVP. Had a 12-12. So that's 4 years. All of a sudden, and he's getting over 200 innings now. All of a sudden, he's 10-15. Career over. 0-2, 1-4, 2-3, 1-2, 1-1, 1-6. His last campaign with the Reds. Career over. What happened to that guy?
Couldn't throw a strike. Remember he had
Yeah.
the,
Got
the
the
Steve
yips.
Blass,
Yeah, he got the yips.
Chuck Knobloch, Mankey Sasser thing there. Yeah.
That's a good one, and I do like this topic because it happens. Unfortunately, right? This guy came to mind right off the bat when we were talking about this segment for me. Was Sterling Sharp, wide receiver for Green Bay, broke in the late '80s. Only played 6 or 7 years, but in those 6 or 7 years, would you guys agree? A dominant wide receiver. Probably had around 600 receiving receptions, 8,000 yards, 65 touchdowns. That was just a dynamic connection with him and Favre. And I remember in the fantasy football era had just kind of started.
Yep.
They're in the late 80s, and he was putting up big numbers. And
He was one of the best.
he
wide
was
receivers
legit.
behind him.
And then he hurt his vertebrae or something, like a very, very serious injury, and it completely shut him down. Again, injuries happen. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't anything off the field. It wasn't like his production just went south. He had a major injury. So for me, the first guy that came to mind was Sharp.
Pretty good in the studio too, I thought.
Yeah, for a little bit. And then,
Yeah.
what is he even doing now?
What number was he?
84.
Remember how broad his back was? He
Yeah.
he was huge.
Yeah, he was like one of the original like running back / wide receivers, like Deebo Samuel type back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a real old school one. This is before the 80s, so we didn't put a limit on the 80s, right?
Nah.
All right. I'm gonna bring up one.
Phil Ford?
No, I'm gonna even older than Phil Ford. Tony Conigliaro, late 60s, early 70s with the Red Sox. Third baseman came up at the age of 20, led the American League in home runs, and got back in the day they didn't have the helmets like they quite do now.
Right.
Got hit in the face with a fastball. Have you guys ever seen the picture of him after?
I've seen it.
It's like his left
Scary,
eye is completely
scary,
closed,
yep.
and it's like the left side of his face is purple, basically. Came back later, I think the next year, or might have missed an entire year. Came back, but just was never the same player. You know, he had what they were saying was Hall of Fame ability when he first started. Again, 20 years old, led the American League in home runs, and then boom, that's it.
That's a good one. I like that one.
All right, back to me. A guy that I wanted to bring up for a number of different. Crocker, you in?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
No, I took
Go ahead,
one.
jump in there.
No, I got to go with Brian Bosworth. You know, he was a beast at Oklahoma.
I like
he
it.
Did nothing in the NFL. Bo Jackson kind of blew him up one day,
Yeah,
and
he
then
did.
he reinvented himself as what Fanville for Dr Pepper. Is that
Yeah, actually
Yeah.
makes some really
So I
bad
think he
movies
said-
too. What was the movie?
Stone Cold.
So I like that.
What do you mean bad?
Chains.
What do you mean bad movie?
Down chains.
So that was my favorite.
But he
when
did
I-
come back. He did come back
he
as the Dr.
reinvented
Pepper
himself.
guy.
Yep, absolutely.
44 at Oklahoma. He had the mesh gut shirt.
Yeah, he was a beast.
He was a stud in the middle linebacker position. Good one. I like that
all
one.
natural.
Crocker, nicely done. Crocker. I've wanted to bring this guy up in many different ways, and this one is obviously the way to go. With a 5-year NBA career before he retires, tries to come back after 1 year out, plays 5 games, gets 5.8 points a game, and his body. I mean, just this is a physical one. He physically, I don't remember what the affliction was, but he had some rare.
Just bad knees.
Knees.
Like something with both his knees, I believe.
Does he have a kid that's on the way that's decent though?
That
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of Dewan Wagner, and because he retired early too, right? Milt Wagner's son,
Yeah.
Dewan,
I think he played for the Cavs maybe for just a couple of years. Yeah, that's a good one too.
and then his kid is like a stud recruit, right?
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Anyway, Brandon Roy, Portland, 5 seasons. Now, guys, out of the University of Washington, he kind of had a little bit of that Steph Curry-ness to him, a little bit of Dwayne Wade to him.
That's what I was going to say. Good.
Explosive scorer. Didn't look explosive until he had to be. So he didn't waste motion. He didn't over dribble. He dribbled to be able to square up and get one off. Crazy athletic. But here's his first 5 years. 16.8, 19.1, 22.6, 21.5, and then a real crappy year, 12.2. So he averaged, near 20 points,
Yeah, he was a
just
good
around
player.
19 points. And, he didn't take tons of threes and nothing like that. Just a really solid player out of the University of Washington.
I was going to say, what school?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Did the Huskies play them? No,
They-
not when he was there.
Not with him though. That's when Rip hit the shot, right? That was against UW.
That was good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but he wasn't.
he
there.
he
wasn't
was
on that
he
team.
wasn't on that team.
They had
the big guy.
who else is he? He reminds me of Curry's first backcourt mate with the Warriors a little bit too, and he was just too erratic, and they got rid of him. But who was he with?
Monte Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis. But he was like a better. non-flashy
he was
version
better.
of him.
He did
Yeah.
a lot. He did a
I'm
lot
just
more.
saying
Yeah,
that
no.
They looked alike. They're,
Yeah.
whatever. Brandon Roy, that's my guy.
All right, you guys gotta humor me because I'm gonna make up my own rules on this one. This is a duo because every time I think of one, I gotta think of the other. And I know they went on to careers, post whatever, but they never lived up to what I thought they were going to be.
Please don't say Dan and Dave O'Brien.
No, I'm going Strawberry and Gooden.
All right. Well, that's good.
Just because you thought one of them was going to at least be a Hall of Famer, right? After their rookie seasons and they won the title in '86. Who'd they play, Crocker, in '86?
Not sure, but they were Hall of Fame partiers.
Yeah, and that was part of their downfall.
You got one pick. Relax.
That was part of their downfall. Like Strawberry went to L.A. and you knew he was out there, but he wasn't doing anything. Little reclamation project with the Yanks when Steinbrenner brought him back for a handful of years, helped him in '96, whatever. Gooden gets the no-hitter in '96 for the Yanks against the Mariners, but these guys were just never what I thought they were going to be. And they're linked in my mind forever together as guys that just should have been better. So I'll go Doc and Straw.
Well, he's using two guys now.
No, because it was just a duo.
Can I do two?
Where's the commissioner now? And then, by the way, as soon as we got him in pinstripes, we got a no-hitter.
That's why I said
couple
reclamation
championships,
projects.
and a bunch of home runs.
Yeah.
And
But
Strawberry
still.
knocked out Benitez.
No, but how good was Dwight Gooden in 1985? Oh my God.
That curveball is
Oh.
amazing.
He was like,
unhittable.
he put up
Yeah.
Guidry-type numbers.
Unreal.
Lord
Unreal.
Charles.
So I'm going to throw two guys at you too, but they have nothing to do other than they both made the Hall of Fame in separate sports. Sandy Koufax and Gale Sayers. They both had 5 to 6 year careers, and
Elite.
again in the Hall of Fame. Sandy Koufax. I mean, the nickname was the left arm of God. And if you look at his stats, like his 5 or 6 years, you know how good Pedro was in the late '90s for the Red Sox. Like this guy was better, and
No doubt.
he just whatever happened to his arm, like his arm was like turning purple and stuff, and he bang, that was it. His career ended, but he for 5 or 6 years, unreal. Like look at his stats in Baseball Almanac. Him and then Gale Sayers, who the Kansas comma, who just Hall of Famer too, blew his knee up, and it's not the same thing. But actually, back then I read an article about how it was basically taped together. It was like it literally had staples in it, in his knee, and he came back and played, and he kind of made himself into a more of a power back, but like he was to
I'd
me.
play him in center right now.
There are there are a few
Jesus.
guys that like if there's you ever watch the NFL films things and like anytime Barry Sanders is on and I've seen the highlights 600 times, but if it's on, like I'll watch it again. Gale Sayers is the same thing to me, like him running and the way he just contorts his body at full speed, unreal. And again, both guys made the Hall of Fame, but I mean they, imagine what they would have done if they didn't get hurt and had a little longer.
Those are good ones. You guys need any more or just those 6 guys? All right, Crocker. what do
Croc,
you got?
you're up for 3. You got 3
listen,
guys?
We're not doing Mount Rushmore.
I got
'cause
one guy for you. I'll go with a can't-miss prospect, pitching prospect for the Yanks. Sometimes
Ryan Taylor. Here we go. Yeah.
So exactly. Sometimes
not-
when you step into a bowling alley, things escalate, tempers flare, and you injure yourself, and you have no career.
Cooler
We
heads
brought
did
him
not
up with
prevail.
people that
Cooler
made
heads did not
mistakes or
prevail.
whatever, but
That's a good one. That's a really good one. He was
He was a can't.
He was a
miss.
can't miss, yeah.
And I hated it as a Sox fan. I'm like, this guy is going to light us up for years, and thank God it didn't happen.
No.
I feel bad for the kid, but
here's the thing about
You're right,
baseball,
Crocker.
though.
Good
Like we talk about Juan Soto last week, Baez has become just awful, and then all the Yankees guys we've had, the Kevin Browns, the big unit, anyone who we've gotten who've clean up, they cover their tattoos, we cut their hair and shave off their mustache, and all of a sudden they got no mojo to them. And dude, it's a different world now. Like you're supposed to be able to express yourself. This haircut thing it's gotta freaking go. But like you can't predict how good. There's no guarantees in baseball. There's no guarantees. It's too hard. Soto is awful.
Yeah.
I'll take him.
He's
I'll
struggling.
take him too. I'm just saying we're taking him on conjecture and potential and all that stuff. There's no guarantees, and they didn't get what they're paying for him.
No, you're right.
Not yet.
So is that your guy?
No.
That has fallen off a cliff? But he has fallen off a cliff.
I
though.
was thinking about him, but this guy fell, just not off a cliff. But Bobby Hurley, very interested in 1993, how his NBA fortune would turn out, and it was misfortune because of his physical issues following a car crash.
Yeah, he almost died.
Yeah. But I real, and that's, if you ever watch that stuff, that's tough to watch. And we hated him as a player because we're UConn guys. But anyway, was
Top
it
10
after his
pick.
first
Top
year?
10 pick. No, it was during his rookie year. I
During
think
his
they only
rookie
played
year.
like 7 or 8 games, and he was driving home after a
19.
game.
19
Drunk,
Okay,
yeah,
19
drunk
games.
driver, right?
And by the way, in 19 games, he had 7.1 points a game, 6 assists a game. I mean, he was off to a hell of a start.
I think so.
I was very intrigued at his size, whether he'd pan out. And you look at the other little guys like that, that aren't overly athletic. The Mark Prices, Stockton's just such a thick guy. I mean, how many of that type player were there in that league? I was really interested to see if that would work out for him. Done.
We'll never know. Yeah,
5
unfortunately.
seasons, 269 games, 3.8 points a game, 3.3 assists, and the game got too athletic for him after his body.
Only
went
with
through that.
Sacramento, or when he came back, all 5 years with SAC?
Vancouver for 27 games.
Vancouver Grizzlies
With
at
those
the time,
ugly
yeah.
uniforms.
Really? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, me neither. Anyway, he was number 12 for the Grizz. And again, I would have, 7 and 12. I just would have loved to seen if he could have done it. Outside of, the shooting separates him. So don't confuse what I'm saying. But Steph comes out, he looks like a 12-year-old. He becomes one of the best players the league's ever seen.
Yeah.
Hurley looked like a 12-year-old.
He
And
was a
all
winner.
they did was win.
Yeah, he was a winner.
I would have loved to see what happened with him. But he never got that chance. Bob Hurley, my guy.
All right, I'm going to get crushed for this one too, but I don't care. I have thick skin. When you say fall off a cliff, when this guy went from this team to this team, his career fell off a cliff because of injuries. Ken Griffey Jr. All right? Angry Jay. When he went to Cincinnati at age 30, he was the best player in baseball.
No, but
At that time, he wasn't.
Second best. Barry Bonds.
Oh,
was best.
okay. It's debatable, but one or two.
No, it's not.
I'll give you that. Because we talked about it in previous shows. He went to Cincinnati, and it's like he got hurt. No one, he ended up with the White Sox at one point, and I always just think if he stayed with Seattle, he's one of the best players of all time. I think people would be talking about him
As the best.
as probably the best or one of the top 3, 4, 5 guys.
He did miss some years. He missed almost entire
He
year
missed
with Seattle when he made an incredible catch.
Yeah, he
smashed
just
into
was.
the wall.
He played with reckless abandon out in center field, making all those catches up against the wall. I just remember him going to Cincinnati, and I'm like, wow, that's huge for Cincinnati. And his body let him down, and
he went home.
He
That's
was
home
just
for
he
him.
was just never the same. And I know he was a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying his career was never the same once he made that move. So.
I got a question for
Going
you.
a little outside the box with Griffey Jr.
I love that one because, fell off a cliff. How many home runs he got? 600 something?
630,
So, what number was he with Seattle?
24.
24.
What
yeah.
number was he with Cincinnati?
3?
He wasn't. Yeah, he was number 3, I think.
It was either 3 or 30. It wasn't
His dad
24.
was 30.
That's what it was. Okay.
His dad was definitely.
He
30.
went to Cincinnati because of his dad, right?
Right, well, he's from
That was
there.
part of it, yeah.
His first card is from a high school in Ohio.
Yeah.
So,
Moeller.
Moeller, yeah. So, and I have it. Easy. So, why didn't he wear number 24 for the Reds, boys?
Tony Perez.
Perez,
There you go. Okay.
big red machine.
You looked it up. All right.
No,
Jay, you're up.
we just have no life. We know these numbers.
There's several guys now I want to mention, but I'm going to throw one out.
Are you doing 3 this time?
No, I'm only going to go one.
Okay.
A fairly recent guy that we had forgot about. We had his dad help us win a championship in 1996. This guy hit, I believe he won at least one, maybe had 2 home run titles.
Fielder.
One Prince Fielder.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
hit dingers with Texas and Milwaukee. And then one day, was it Milwaukee first, and then Texas?
was Milwaukee first. Yep.
But he literally, like, one day you just turn on Sports Center and they're like, Prince Fielder has to retire, has due to neck issues, and
Yeah, he had that thing on. He looked like Hannibal Lecter with
yeah,
that thing on.
yeah, and then
Crying.
it just came out kind of like out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my god! And he had just signed a huge contract with Texas. He was like a couple years into like almost like a $200 million deal or something.
Yeah.
But I'll go. I mean, he was on his way to Hall of Fame, possibly.
Was he over 100 dingers? Probably, right?
Oh,
yeah.
200?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
200?
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know. I would say over two. I'll
I
say
think
like
he played a little longer than we think.
250,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
240, 250.
Producer, what do you got?
I was just looking at a bunch of them, to be honest, and the one that kind of strung a chord with me after watching some of those ESPN segments was Marcus Dupree.
That's a good
Whoa.
one. Nicely done. Yeah, he
Are
did
you-
30 for
Were
30.
you an Oklahoma Sooners guy?
I wasn't,
Growing
but
up? Oh.
oddly enough, I just loved that segment on ESPN. I thought it was fascinating, and when he came out of college early, signed with what was that pseudo kind of NFL league? whatever.
USFL.
Thank you, the
Yeah,
USFL. I couldn't even
Yep.
remember the name of it, but oh man! And then he, blew
What
out
school
the
did he
knee.
transfer to?
Transfer to?
Yeah.
You know,
Did he go to SMU?
No.
it's gonna kill me.
What school did he transfer to after Oklahoma?
Yes. Here's a guy that was talking about he was like the picture of bad advice. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the knee issue, and then
All right,
the
enough with the
recovery and
suspense.
the-
What
come
was
on.
it? No,
Southern Miss.
Southern
SMU.
Miss, yes.
No, it's not. That's not SMU.
Southern Miss?
I
Southern-
did.
Oh, that's
Southern
Southern
Mississippi.
Methodist.
Is it not SMU though?
No, actually, they don't go by that.
Yeah, they do. What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
they don't.
Southern
You know the
Mississippi
Southern
University.
Southern Methodist is in Texas. For
Southern
God's sake.
Mississippi
That's
University?
That's
Are you kidding
that's
me?
where
You're
Dickerson.
going to tell me that doesn't say
Okay.
SM?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
All right, you play by your own rules. All right,
Did
I
anybody
like
come
that
out
one.
with Prince
though,
Fielder dingers or no?
Yeah, I got it. This is kind of impressive. He had 319 in
All right.
12 years. However, in those years that counted, he's got a 39-game year, rookie year. He's got a 42-game year, and he's got an 89-game year. So you're essentially talking
Wow, 3 years
9
wrapped into one.
9 years. 10. Let's call it 10 years. He's 321,
How many games played in his career?
1,600.
All right, so a home run every 5 games. Yeah, that's pretty legit.
I mean, he's no Giancarlo, but we're probably talking about a Hall of Famer here. My next guy.
That's my point.
And funny how we're taking these.
This is your last
superstar-
one, big guy.
Yeah, but I'm counting him as 2 guys.
Okay. All right, go for it.
I'm going to take Bo Jackson, the baseball player. And Bo Jackson, the baseball player, impressive. 8 years, only 141 homers, but like that wasn't his thing. 82 steals over that time. Didn't really play a full season in either sport, really, because he was doing a little bouncing back and forth. But when he was with Kansas City, he was a frightening person to look at in a uniform with those calves. Those quads. People talk about Saquon right now. This guy in that light blue uniform looked menacing. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have to hit home runs to be good. He just hit. Didn't strike out a ton. He had one bad strikeout year. But, hitting the mid-200s, hose of an arm, right? So, Bo Jackson, the baseball player. I'm also taking Vincent Edward Jackson, the football player. And you know what? I didn't realize it was only 4 years. And get this.
Yeah.
Year 1, 7 games. And I do remember that one because it was right. He came in late. 10 games in 88. 11 games in 89, which would be his most, because then 10 games in 90. The 1 year he played 11 games, started 9 of them, 950 yards on the ground.
His hobby. They
Another-
called it his hobby.
Yeah, it's hobby. Football. NFL football was his hobby.
He was an All-Star game MVP in baseball, and he made a Pro Bowl. Like, that doesn't happen a lot.
Made the Pro Bowl in 90. And the last reason I want to say I took Vincent Edward Jackson, the football player, and Bo Jackson, the baseball player, was that in Tecmo 2,
Unstoppable.
you couldn't stop this guy. He'd run past you, and if you had the luck to run into him, you just hit that button a bunch of times, and he shakes you.
Yeah. Well, he's the best athlete I've ever seen.
Me too. The image that I remember, was it the All-Star game in Anaheim? He led off the game in a home run to straightaway center field, right?
Yep.
And it just
Ronald
had to
Reagan
be at least 450
Ronald
feet.
Reagan was in the booth. You remember?
That-
He was
that-
calling it.
That I don't remember,
with
but
Vin Scully. With Vin Scully.
I just
Ronald
remember
Reagan.
when he hit that ball, I'm like, oh my Lord, where's that going to end up? And there was a big tarp out in center field up in the bleachers, like to black it out.
You know who he hit it off of?
Rick Russell?
McCaskill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the Whale. That's his nickname. That's a great nickname, by the way, huh?
He was a Yankee farmhand, was he not?
He was
We need another nickname show.
the Whale.
All right, for my last one, and I was not a fan of this guy, but I thought he was destined for the Hall of Fame, and the old Crocker's maybe one of his favorite players, maybe one of his least favorite players for me was Nomar. When he came up with the Red Sox, he hit for average. He developed a lot more power as he got older with the Sox. He was made for Fenway Park, I thought, and he came up with Jeter and A-Rod, where the hitting shortstop became a thing after being a shortstop was more a defensive position. That those three guys kind of changed it. And then for whatever reason, the Sox soured on him, Crocker, and you remember this in 2004. They traded him at the deadline, and once he left, that team took off. Mm-hmm. They had Cabrera at short, and I think Minkiewicz came back, and they became more of a defensive team. And unfortunately, they shocked our Yanks after being down 3-0. And then with the Cubs and with the Dodgers, he was just never the same. I thought he was projecting toward, him and Jeter and A-Rod. That was the thing. A-Rod was
That's
power, but
all those Red Sox fans used to try to say
yeah,
Nomar's
but
better.
I'm going to ask you, what did you guys feel about him as a player? And were you, when they traded him, were you guys shocked?
He wasn't my favorite guy, to be honest with you. A little quirky for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You're right. They took off after he left. But think about that. After he left, there was years where we had zero stability at the shortstop position.
Mm-hmm.
Years.
He wouldn't last in today's game with the pitch clock.
No.
Or the hitter's clock. Oh, my Lord.
I
that
saw
guy.
him in the minor leagues. Let me tell you something. He got big kind of fast.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how. It must have been. He must have been eating
Yeah.
right or something.
I don't know.
Whey protein and weightlifting.
I don't know what happened there. Remember, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You're like, I don't know about that, but I'll go.
With his shirt off?
Yeah, I'll go Nomar
So
with that one.
I gotta throw a thing out there. I got one more guy.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have to be an actual athlete, or could it be somebody like was sports related?
Well, throw it out there. See what you
Go
got.
for it. I mean, we
Well,
got
the
a sports
Donfather's
show
not
here,
here.
but you want to...
I was gonna throw out Jimmy the Greek Snyder, who was on NFL Today. He was a commentator.
It's funny you're doing that because
Funny, I'm
Who'd
just,
You Rather is going to be mainly about voices.
all right. So should we count him, or I could
Get
just
him
go-
in there.
All right. Well, there's the poster boy for a guy who probably you should shut your mouth and.
He's a racist.
Without saying anything, him and El
Campanis, yeah.
Campanis, who
He's a
came out-
racist. You're out of here.
Came in, said ridiculous things in their career, which was flourishing, and he was like the show to watch for NFL
Yeah.
pregame, and all of a sudden, one ridiculously stupid thing they said, and boom, career like over, canceled. That's pretty much what it's called nowadays, right?
Yeah, he was canceled.
Yeah, he was canceled.
Angry Jay, and you know this, and you guys all know this too. Those shows back, that was the must-see
Yeah.
pregame show, and they were only a half hour long
Unbelievable.
on
yeah.
CBS.
Phyllis
with
George,
Irv Cross and Musburger, but
Yeah.
they predicted the games, and they do a couple profiles, and that was it.
They had a gambling segment.
Yeah.
You remember they
behind
would,
the board,
Yeah.
yeah.
they would have like quarterback, and he would have like the check mark next
Yeah.
to who had the better quarterback,
Yeah.
running back.
But I mean, that was what started all the, like now ESPN is what, a 3-hour pregame
Yeah.
on Sundays?
Yeah.
But CBS, what was it called? NFL Today?
NFL Today, yeah.
Started at 12:30.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you got, Crocker? You got one more?
Yeah, I guess I would go with an easy one, Odin. Ohio
Yeah.
State.
That's a good
we
one.
talked about it
Yeah.
pre-show, and I mean, he was a guy who I thought was a can't-miss NBA prospect. Got injured early for Portland, and that was it. I mean, I think he played a scratch over 80 games, if I remember correctly, but next to nothing out of him.
Picked before Durant.
Was that a foot injury?
Yeah, and I actually
Yeah.
thought he was a better pick than Durant. How wrong was I in that?
he
How
was
about his backcourt mates having a night? He's still
Mike,
going.
Yeah, Mike Conley. Yeah.
Tough
The
guy.
one year that Odin had though was in college. He was terrific.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Well, how about him following his old college coach Thad Matta
Yep.
to Xavier. Is that where they are now? Because that's Ohio, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Thad's the head coach, and Odin's on the bench.
So
7 foot tall.
We just watched the NCAA tournament. One of the commercials was they showed
I
the
saw
guys
it.
on the beach.
I saw it, yeah.
He's one of them with Leitner and
Adam Morrison
Adam
with a
Morrison,
haircut. Who
yeah.
you couldn't recognize because he
Yeah.
had a haircut.
Odin's one of them. Yeah. So that's a good
I mean,
call. there.
Adam Morrison looked like he was in the Outsiders. Looked like he was one of the greasers.
So we done.
It wasn't a Soch.
I'm gonna throw some guys that we didn't mention.
Oh, honorable mentions?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that in you. Go.
Yeah, Jay Williams, the Duke guy who.
Which one? Not white chocolate, dude.
No, Jason Williams was. He had a good
motorcycle.
career.
Oh,
Jay-
SMU, I call him Jay. Go.
Yeah. Well, he went by Jay by the time he got to the Bulls, but the second
ahead,
pick overall,
Jason.
motorcycle accident.
Angry Jay.
If you want to call women's tennis a sport, Monica Seles.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, it's women's tennis. It's like WNBA. Does anybody really watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be that way.
All right, Monica Seles then, who was
We have daughters.
The
I mean,
best-
come on, let's go.
You're going to lose your job over here. You're going to be Jason the Greek. Angry Jay the
she got
Greek.
stabbed. The
Canceled.
stabbing accident. Like somebody
Yeah.
on fan actually ran on the court and stabbed her.
I was watching it when it happened.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Crazy.
Oh, that scream before like everything
Yeah.
was on video? Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? So, and I'll.
But she screamed like that every time she hit a shot, so you
This is
didn't you
scream, not
didn't
a
know.
grunt.
Yeah.
One was a scream, the other one's a
Was that,
grunt.
was
No,
that, it was
seriously,
a-
you didn't know until the camera
so
panned to
true.
it, and she's laying on the ground gasping for air.
I thought she was volleying.
the security was a little lax that day at
You
the.
think so?
Oh
Was it-
my!
was it the
but
French Open?
Nah, it was
Or-
like a lead up to it,
Yeah.
but it was like a clay court. I remember, but it was like a deranged Steffi Graf fan
Yeah.
Right.
because she was like passing her in the rankings. Or
And
whatever.
he says he doesn't follow women's tennis.
I'm a
look
sports
at
guy.
that in-depth
rattling off
analysis
stats.
right there.
What a faker.
Lindros, who had concussions. Bang! I hate.
He could have been one of the best, right?
Donnie Baseball
No.
Shame
we
on
don't
you.
skip
Shame
that
on
one.
you.
would have been the Hall of Fame if
Shame
he
on
didn't get
you.
back. I'm just saying it, man. And Andrew Toney was another guy
Jeez.
for me. As I hated it. Well, I didn't hate the Sixers, but he, that Boston
part of
Strangler, Boston Strangler. Like he was like the original guy with the stress fractures. They thought he was faking it. And they kept telling him to play, and he was playing with broken feet. And Brian Shazier, a guy,
That's your guy.
That's hasn't been too long. Just bang.
How about Terrell Davis?
Yeah, there's some
Ray Rice. I
Yeah.
mean,
Andrew Luck, but
Andrew Luck. Yep.
he just called it a career.
How about Johan Santana? Didn't you think he would? Well, he played a lot of years,
Went
but
to the Angels and sucked.
no, I don't
Did
know
he
where.
start out with the Twins?
I just
Yeah.
but
Very good.
then
Was he a Met?
Then to the Mets.
then he got the
The
no hitter
Angels.
with the Mets, and his arm was falling off. He pitched like 190 pitches or something that game. They get the no hitter. He was never the same.
All right. That was fun. We could do that one again with some different type of rules.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like it.
We could do just women's tennis players.
I have no problem with that. Did you guys watch Shaq and Charles making fun of Derek White the other night?
Yeah,
No.
calling him Stephen A. Smith.
I could. They had me going. They could have been talking about pancakes or whatever. Like they were in a mood because it was late at night where they couldn't stop giggling.
Were they
So-
about his forehead?
Yeah. It was like borderline, not nice, but they're just playing. And Charles kept calling him Stephen A.
Yeah,
And he said, man, he's tired. He does first take in the morning and plays for the Celtics at night. Shaq was like doubled over in the
yeah.
thing.
Ernie Johnson was trying to corral him at
Kenny,
one point.
too.
and
Kenny, they just kept going with
they
the
didn't,
segment.
They didn't seem happy with those two guys.
They weren't. So just for some
Stephen A. is playing pretty well for him right now.
I know he is. So just their voice in the studio, if one had to leave because of whatever reason, which one do you prefer, Shaq or Charles?
Oh, it's easy for me. Barkley is an all-timer. He's like made for TV, and God bless TNT for letting him speak his mind on like a lot of different stations. Don't let guys. He doesn't care, and he gets paid for it, which is really cool.
I agree with you, and I think he's got a show coming out with. Does he have a show coming out with Oprah Winfrey or something like that? Maybe our producer can look that up. But I'm, as you guys know, and I've talked about this forever, I'm not a pre-game or a post-game show guy. I watch the game and I kind of let it be. But that is probably the best. That booth or that table with Shaq and Ernie and Kenny and Barkley, that is like must see if you're an NBA person, or even if you're not an NBA person.
Do you guys remember they were doing this was an NBA playoff game. They were doing like a game at one of the arenas, and Reggie Miller was actually on.
I know what it is. Yeah,
Do you remember this? When
he said a naughty word.
Yeah, he called.
What's the matter? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's what Reggie. He literally used a female body part. There was there. Ernie Johnson's like thanking the producers or whatever, and he called. The guy.
Nah, yeah, not nice.
Like only he could get away with it.
Well, Reggie
it was
caught
hilarious.
He was like
Reggie
so
Miller.
annoyed and shocked.
I remember Kenny Smith hip checking Shaq into the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And they have some great segments.
Crocker,
it is fun.
Shaq or Charles?
I gotta. I'm not an NBA guy, admittedly, but I just Shaq cracks me up. I don't
They're
know
both
why. And I
hilarious.
like
They're
them both.
both
I like them
hilarious.
both. It's tough for me to pick, but I think I'd go with Shaq.
Shaq is a funny dude.
Yeah,
Him-
I probably
him
got to
killing-
lean Charles, but
Him killing JaVale McGee, and then he used to kill him all the time with his Shaq and the Fool thing, which is
Yeah.
that's what a hilarious
YouTube
segment
knows.
is. Yeah,
you ever see when they called him Shrek and then
Yeah.
Ernie goes, oh, now it's time for Shrek and a Fool, and Shaq got up and started chasing him. Ernie was out
Do you
there.
guys like the crossover when they go to the NCAA tournament?
I don't mind it. Like
I can't
don't-
get enough of them guys, but that's not their thing.
No, it's not. But I don't need to see Billy Packer anymore. You know, like he had run his course with me. Guys like that, you
I
know.
agree.
I'll take.
Need some levity in it. Have
Yeah,
some
I'll
fun
take.
with it.
I'll take
It's like
Barkley any day.
Clark Kellogg, Seth
Yeah, so
Davis,
he's good.
Kenny. Yeah.
So this was the segue into
It's time for Who'd You Rather?
Let's do it.
one Sunday Sports Center. We're talking the old school real Sports Centers, not this crap they're putting on now. You get a 1 hour show on a Sunday night at 11. Okay?
Gotcha.
Berman or Olbermann. You only get one of them. Go. Berman, Olbermann. 1 hour show. Go.
I can't take Dan Patrick.
Well, no, because he wasn't one of the choices.
I'll take Berman.
By default, I'll take Berman, yeah.
I'm Olbermann. Berman was over the top for me. Too much.
Yeah.
Too much cheese.
I'll take Berman.
Gotcha.
SVP, Dan Patrick. Go.
SVP.
Are you down with SVP?
I am.
Yeah, you know me.
I'll
Yeah.
go Dan Patrick.
Croc.
SVP.
SVP for me, too. Looks like one of my friends. Bob Shepard, or that Sixers announcer
Dave Zinkoff.
that used to go,
Dave Zinkoff.
Julius, the doctor. Irving.
No brainer for me. As much as I enjoyed the intro for the doctor, there's only one voice for me.
Jay, Shep,
Yeah, it's got to be Shepard.
Crocker.
Voice
Going
of
with
God.
Loddy. Agree.
Voice of God.
Yeah, voice. Bob Shepard. Susie Waldman talking baseball or Jessica Mendoza?
Jessica Mendoza.
My
Without a
God.
doubt.
I want you to say it, Lottie.
God. No, I got to go Mendoza. Again, by default. What an awful question.
Worth a few laughs.
I'm not even.
Well, you guys
We
are
can't
making
get
fun
above
of
the
me. You
Mendoza
guys are
line,
making
or
fun
I'm
of
going
me.
with you, Jay.
You guys are making fun of me. Now you're
No
making
fun.
fun.
I'm not making fun of anybody.
Everybody's
just answering
laughing
the
here. Everybody's
question.
laughing here.
I got to answer the question.
I think we were laughing at how quickly
I'm not
you
making fun of
responded.
anyone.
Who came up with the question, Angry Jay?
I did, but we're talking about two esteemed announcers.
Fair enough. What
I'm
else you
making you
got
choose
there?
one.
Waldman
So she's
sucks.
under. Well, Susie's under the
She's
Mendoza line for
awful.
sure, but Bogsy couldn't be reached for comment. John Sterling, Vin Scully.
Scully.
Oh, listen. I'm a little bit of a homer, but like you, it's Scully, man. Like Sterling's home run calls when he first started doing it, they were the best.
Until he started
But
making mistakes.
The Volpe one is the Volpe one is awful.
So he doesn't really know what's going on. It's been going on for the last 10 years. But Vin Scully is like Saturday baseball.
Yes.
Like he's awesome.
NBC Game of the Week.
Was awesome.
Scully, no doubter for me.
He was like 40 years, right? Was it over 40, 50? How long was his
For the
career?
Dodgers?
Yeah.
Maybe
time.
longer
It might
than
have
that.
been longer, yeah, it
Maybe
was-
longer. Might have been 60-something years.
All right, somebody
It
got to
was a
look that up.
long time.
I think
Producer. Where's our producer?
He might have
my phone
been.
down.
Was he doing it in Brooklyn just before they left Brooklyn?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Or was he only there with L.A.? Because L.A. they moved what in the 50s? No,
Yeah.
he definitely did 60-something years.
Anybody?
What? We're looking. Come on, you go to the next one. We'll come up with it.
Okay. So I'm going to give you another Vin Scully then. And this one I don't think you can top the opponent. Vin Scully, Phil Rizzuto. Go.
Scully.
What?
I love the scooter, but I mean, again, Scully is the man.
Boring.
Nah. No.
Freaking boring.
Transistor radio. Listen to Vin.
It's Scully. I listen. Rizzuto's just over. He wasn't even good.
Holy cow.
He wasn't
What?
Good. He wasn't good.
No Hall of Fame.
Scully.
I'll take Rizzuto.
Somebody had to.
Oh, relax. How about Keith Hernandez or his teammate Ron Darling? To me, there's something annoying about both of them. Who would you rather listen to?
I rather listen to Hernandez.
You're looking at me.
I don't enjoy listening to Darling.
I'm
He's
not
a
a
little
huge-
too smart for me. Hernandez was a ball player.
I love Hernandez in the booth. Like he's kind of like Barkley in the sense that he's not quite as funny, but he just tells it like it is. He would have got fired if he worked for the Yankees because he says, he'll do, that's a terrible play. Like,
Yeah,
he'll
he's
make
not as
fun of
polished.
something. Yeah,
But that's what we want.
Yeah.
We don't want polished.
I don't need
Darling's polished. Yale. Get out of here with that.
Agree.
All right.
Who you got, Bobby Mack?
It's like both. I'd probably take Hernandez. There's something about Darling's nasally voice which makes me just want to.
Would you rather have Darling or Smoltz? Oof. Not to steal your thunder over there, but
Smoltz is terrible.
Wow. So you want to guess on Vin Scully? Broadcast years?
68 years.
Go ahead.
67 years. Wow.
Quite a
I
run.
think Loddy had the closest guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
From 23 to 80. Age 23 to 80 years old.
That's insane.
All right,
So
got
he
it.
was with Brooklyn.
Yeah. 1950, they said, first game he did.
Pick a Gumble.
Oh. The guy that's not on HBO.
That's Greg.
Correct.
That's Greg,
They're
so I'll take
phasing him
Bryant.
out.
I'll
They're-
take Bryant.
They're phasing Greg Gumbel out. They didn't renew his contract. Bryant Gumbel, the first time I ever heard Bryant Gumbel, and I'm dating myself here, was 1979 on NBC, Magic versus Bird in the national championship. So,
You sure it's not Greg?
nope. Bryant Gumbel.
All right.
I'd go Bryant, but it pains me to do so. I don't like really either of them.
What is he doing nowadays?
I like
Still
Greg
doing the
Gumbel.
HBO sports stuff or
I
not
think
even
so,
doing
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
He was an integral part of NBC Sports back in the
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
70s, early 80s.
That HBO show is annoying. Like with there's this tone in it. Like,
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's
annoying. Give me Greg. That I got it right? Greg.
no. Greg's the guy that's on HBO.
Oh, then I want Bryant.
Yeah.
All right. John Madden, Howie Cosell.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
I'll go Madden.
I'm going to go Cosell because he did everything. He did Monday Night Baseball. He did Monday Night
That's not a bad-
Football. Did the Monday Night
that's
Football
not
and
a-
did all the boxing stuff.
That's a really good call. But one thing I liked about Madden, he was kind of like one of the first announcers that kind of just explained plays to you. And instead of just saying this guy runs for 7 yards, he'd be like, "Watch the the left tackle pull here, and he's going to hit."
A lot of coach speak.
Yeah, he
I
did.
mean, he was definitely different.
and he didn't need like replay to do it. They were just like, that was amazing. But that's a great call with Cosell doing boxing and all that stuff. Down goes Frazier.
I love Jay's point. To be honest with you, I enjoy the guys that you can learn something from when you're watching a telecast, right? So
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job with that. And who can beat a turkey leg on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, and he made it fun, definitely.
Well, that means Tony Romo will go into the NFL Hall of Fame on two notes then. One as a gunslinger and the other one as probably the best announcer that's ever lived. I'm going to go Cosell. That voice was part of my story. Just,
I'm with you, man.
someday when people got to come, stand in line to visit me, I want Howie Cosell's voice in there somewhere because that was my every Saturday, no matter the sport.
The boxing with the Frazier He
Yeah.
was on. He called the Chambliss home run too.
Yes, he did. You knew when Cosell was doing the game, it was an event. It was a big event.
He could
And,
turn it into like a mini series drama, like no matter what
yeah.
it was.
Yeah, that's a good call.
What a
It's a-
talent!
Yeah.
It's a great matchup.
He was a
Bobby. That
lawyer.
a good
smoking a cigarette
That was a
all
good
the
one.
while.
one. Yeah.
Down goes Frazier. All right, that was not a good one. But Keith Jackson or Musburger, college football.
College football?
Yeah.
Keith Jackson. Not even close for me.
For just college football,
Just college
I would go
football.
with Keith Jackson. too.
Rose Bowl games? Oof.
Keith Jackson, me too. I mean, he's just the voice of college football.
I did love Musburger. He used to always say when the game was coming out, whatever event it was.
It's a fumble.
You're looking live?
Yeah, you're looking live at like Bristol, Connecticut, where Bala, and he had one other great line where Bird and the Bird Neat game that went 7 games, they were going
Yeah.
nuts. Bird was going nuts in the 4th, and he, being a Larry Bird homer, his line was, "You are watching what greatness is all about."
Oh yeah.
Love that.
I'm gonna take Musburger for the same reason I took Cosell. There's just some memories that are like literally burned in my head of that voice, and thanks to him. For those.
Childhood memories. Yep.
Dick Vitale or Gus Johnson, they're not totally different.
Bobby Mack, I got to tell you, great job on these, by the way.
Yeah, they were good.
Vitale or Gus Johnson? I like the exuberance of Gus Johnson. I'm sorry. I might be an outlier here, but he just has a lot of fun and a lot of passion calling the games, and I loved Vitale early on, and nothing against Dick, nothing against his age or whatever, but it's not the same for me. So I'll go
Did
Gus.
you like Dick?
Vitale?
You had to at least like him.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the 90s. He was a big part of college basketball. I'll give you that.
You loved him.
I-
Angry Jay.
I'll take Vitale. He was. Gus Johnson is a little over the top for me. Like I can only take so much of him. Like his screaming. I know he's he's a play-by-play guy too, right? Isn't he? Vitale's the whatever
Yeah.
So I'll go Vitale there.
Croc.
I'll go Vitale just based on pure passion for the game. I think he truly loved every minute of it.
You love him.
Here we go.
I'm taking Gus. I mean, there's one YouTube video that's special, and it just no matter what time of year, no matter what time of day, you get to college football, college basketball, like goosebumps, and it's Gus's voice. Moving on to the NBA, Johnny Most or Chick Hearn, they both suck. So
Well, we know where Angry Jay is going, so we can bypass him. I'm taking Johnny Most, too.
Thank you.
over to the little fella.
Like, Chick
to
Hearn was
Rabinovich.
too
Jeez, I can't
GQ
pronounce
and
the
too
name.
professional. Johnny Most was a fan.
Havlicek stole the ball, and
That ball hit me right in the head.
and
Chick Hearn.
then when they played like the late '80s, the Celtics went over to I don't know where the hell they went, Europe somewhere, and he just was like he didn't know any of the players. You remember this?
Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
trying to- He's like
Over to the little fella.
over to the lefty,
On to the lefty, and then Aberdovich. I can't pronounce the names.
Sox lost, Crocker,
Yeah.
by the way.
Shocker,
Sorry.
I called that when they were up 4-0.
All right, who do you got?
Most, no doubt.
Most, okay. Chick Hearn, there's some funny takes with him. But, all right, getting off the announcers or the voices, 2 other big mouths. Who is a bigger jackass, Draymond Green or Dylan Brooks? That's all I want to know.
I was waiting for a Michael K one, by the way. Thank God I didn't.
No,
get that.
we got time.
So we got Draymond Green and who?
Dylan Brooks.
I'll go right now. I'll go Draymond just because he has the longevity factor is a little longer. But Dylan's like looks like he might make a run at him career wise.
Yeah, Draymond, you're kind of used to his deal, but this guy Brooks, I'm taking Brooks. There's just what LeBron James saying to him, like during the layup
Well,
line.
what he said to the world was that he's not letting him go and get under his skin. So immediately when he saw him in the warm-ups, he went over there and started talking to him like, he's not getting under your skin, but you have to can't leave him alone.
We talked about this many times. Memphis, really hard to root for that team, huh?
Yeah.
Even Morant, like I thought I would love
Yeah.
him. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it. I don't care what he's going through. That guy's a freaking jerk.
Gangster.
Why is that
He's
so
not
needed?
going through anything. He's just
Why is it needed to act like a punk when you know you're not going to do anything? And the guys who were punks and went out and did that kind of stuff, they either went to jail or they had, they
And then
killed
John
themselves.
Morant's father is always hanging around. Get
With
rid of
his
these
sunglasses,
guys, man.
like he's
Yeah, get outta
Usher,
here,
dude.
man.
Get out of
outta
here. Or like he's Ursher, whatever his name was.
Knicks don't have
Crocker,
that problem.
Draymond
Knicks
or
don't have
Brooks?
that problem.
I'm actually going to pass, but they're both working hard at it.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's like the Spike Lees of the world are these moderately just like enthusiastic fans all of a sudden.
Yeah. That doesn't happen at Madison
These
Square
fans
Garden,
are
the mecca
idiots.
of basketball. Come on.
Bristol Central boys baseball, not that there's a different type of baseball, 7-0. Softball also undefeated and ranked in the top 10. I had it wrong last week. I thought they were number 1. Give them till the end of the year. Big Bristol Central lacrosse game. I don't know if we'll be out before it, but on the 26th.
Tuesday night,
26th.
Eastern versus Central.
25th.
It's
A
a
lot
big
of
one.
lot of good kids playing in that game.
How
That's the
about
most
the
important thing.
How about the St. Paul Falcon baseball team coming off a state championship, 7-2 to start, and I think that the St. Paul softball squad is out to a decent start. I don't know the record, and I may not ever find it out, and I'll be fine. But I think they've won more than they lost. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up. We really want to thank
That was
Skygazer
fun.
Brewing TNT. I got it right again. Angry Jay went out on a limb too many times. He got to pick 4 guys. He had 8. Loddy gets to pick one guy. He has 2. Crocker, pinch hitting, comes in there and he follows
Crocker,
the rules.
great job, buddy.
Yes, he did. Croc, nicely done.
Thanks for having me.
Always
Loddy.
welcome.
Vital? Thanks for listening, everybody.
Gus Johnson.